Hey friends, welcome to episode 9 of The Stride. In this episode 9 of The Stride, we're going to be talking with Lauri Hämäläinen, an up and coming disc golfer from Finland. And he's going to be talking about the role of the culture of the sport, as well as his personal goals and ambitions. He's currently working on improving his physique to get a little bit oomph on his throws and just improving his game overall. And he's also giving us a good overall view of the sport, how it works, how the gear works, and stuff like that. So, welcome to the Stride, and I hope you enjoy this episode 9 with Lauri Hämäläinen, the disc golfer. Yeah, enjoy. Hello, Lauri. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Just finished at the gym.
Okay, good stuff. So it's so this is off season for you right now.
Just started.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like when does the competitive season start for you guys again?
Well, it depends on if you are planning to go to US or if you're only going to play in the Europe. The Europe swing starts maybe in April or May, and well, if you're going to the States, then it starts in January.
Okay. So the big time pros have a very short off season then.
Yeah.
Okay. But before we go into the big pro fields, first of all, welcome to the Stride. Very, very happy to have you here. I'm really excited about getting to know you and getting to know about frisbee golf. Obviously, it's a very I think it's probably one of the fastest growing sports in the world right now, and especially like the competitive side of it is developing really fast. So it's a really exciting field. But first, I'd love to get to know you, get to know Lauri Hämäläinen. So where does your story start? Can we start with like all the way into the childhood? So where are you from?
Yeah, glad to be here. I'm from Hämeenlinna, so it's in Finland, obviously. I've always lived here, so I'm living in Hämeenlinna right now. And well, how I found disc golf was, I think I was maybe 8 years old. I think that's right. The story goes like this. My friend and I, we were playing with like a beach frisbee.
Yeah.
In the backyard, and we broke it.
Okay. It's a good way to start.
And then my father, he was like, okay, I'm going to the store and get you guys a new one. Then he came across these like different kind of discs.
Yeah.
That they were like disc golf discs. And he was like, what are these? They look so different and feel so different. Yeah. And then he actually bought like 2 of them right away. He was thinking that these don't break. These don't break because they are so much like tougher.
Yeah.
And then he researched what this is about, and then he went to play for maybe a round or 2, and he started to like the sport. And then he took me with him to play a couple of rounds. It was like really nice going to play to the woods, even if the throws weren't that good at that time, because well, I was 8 years old. So yeah. But quickly after that, my father started to go to the competitions, and always when he came home, he always won them. He was very good at disc golf.
So you've got a role model very close at home.
Yeah.
Oh,
So then
I just realized that actually makes you a second generation frisbee golfer already.
Yeah,
Okay, well
already.
done.
Yeah. So he just told me all about these like competitions and how he won them, and I was like, wow, I want to win too.
Yeah.
And then maybe a year or two after that, I started to go to the competitions too. At first it was the like small weeklies nearby, and then the like PDGA competitions.
Yeah.
I took the license in 2015, so this is my 9th competitive year, and I think my father has the license for maybe since 2011 or 12, maybe 12.
Yeah.
So quite a long time.
Okay. So you're in your early 20s now, right? If my math
Yeah,
fits me right.
22.
Yeah. Okay. So you've competed for 8 years. Was that so?
9 years.
9 years.
This is the 9th year.
Okay. So what like how has that progression been like? I assume that you started off like with local competitions near Hämeenlinna and then you moved out from there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just tagged along with my father. Wherever he went to play, I went to play.
Yeah.
So that was about it. And I think I went to the Finnish Nationals the first year I started competing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was the under 13 years and under juniors.
Okay.
And I was actually leading the tournament by 1 stroke, going to the final round.
Yeah.
But then I melted, and then I dropped to the 3rd place.
Okay. Well, 3rd place is not
podium.
Yeah.
Podium at least.
No, I think that there's no shame there. Like if you're like it's your first competition match and you end up on the podium, so I would say well done.
Yeah. Oh, well, it wasn't the first Finnish Nationals.
Sorry, like first like nationals. Yeah. Okay, and so like how about last season? Can you talk me through like what's your level of competition for last season, and then we'll start looking at the future.
Well, I mean, I'm going to start a little bit like further back.
Yeah,
you know, when you have played like, is this the 13th year or 12th year for me? The like motivation can go a little bit like this, because if you have played from such a young age and played so long. So when the coronavirus was the thing, and there wasn't that many competitions, I didn't play that much at all. So then the like spark was a little bit gone, and my motivation wasn't that good. But like maybe especially like 1 year ago, when the off season for the this season started, I found that spark again, and I told myself that I want to win something this season. And then I trained more than I have trained like in the past. So I put more effort into this, and I had one goal: to win one like actual good competition.
Yeah.
So I competed in Europe only, and I started in Copenhagen. That wasn't a good tournament for me, and I was like, oh man, not a good start, not a good start for the season. But maybe it gets better. Maybe it gets better. And after that I think it was 1 weekend off, and then was the Finnish Pro Tour in Jämijärvi.
Yeah.
hadn't played the course like ever, so I went to check out the course, and like every hole that there was, I was like, this is so good hole for me. That this is so easy, feels so easy. And I actually went home that night, and straight away I told everyone, I'm gonna win this competition. I just
That's
feel
the
it.
spirit.
And well, since the first round, I had the first place, kept it till the end. That was it. And I didn't believe it at first. I was like, how? Like, I had the feeling, and I just did it.
And that's great.
One like the second event of the season, and I accomplished my goal.
Yeah.
So that was a really good start after all. And 1 week after that, it was Nokia Open, and I won it too.
Yeah.
So 2 wins in a row, and I was like, what is happening here? Like, and my game feels good.
But you said that, well, yeah, obviously more experience, that helps. And then if the course is such that it suits your style, then that's also one thing.
Yeah.
But you also said that you practiced more than before. And is it just about the volumes, or did you also like train in new ways?
Maybe more on the volume side, and well, of course, a little bit change to how you train, and keeping an eye on like what do you really want to do.
Yeah.
And one addition was that 2 years ago, me and my father, we started to go to the gym more regularly, and I actually gained like 20 kilograms in 2 years. So that was a difference.
Yeah, I would assume that translates to quite a few. Are you counting meters or yards, by the way?
Meters.
Meters.
Well.
Okay. So it's not like
feet if you're in the US.
Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, like getting 20 kilos more, like I'm sure that translates to quite a few extra meters on the long courses as well. Yeah.
And you feel more like steady, like stable.
Yeah, because you don't have to go. Yeah, because you don't like have to go to full power. You can keep it to like 85%, and then it's more control. Yeah. Okay. That it's interesting, and like because I think that like that's like one of the patterns. Like I've been involved with sort of emerging or growing sports pretty much my whole life, and I see this sort of the same thing happen in one sport after the other. That like once the sport starts to mature and people start to take the competition a little bit more serious, then suddenly it starts paying off to go to the gym and like maybe go for a run and like start doing all sorts of other like just sort of basic workouts and stuff like that to just round yourself out as an athlete. Because like I think that regardless of pretty much any sport, and we can go all the way to like esports, if you're fit, it helps. It's
helps.
It's like I assume that then it's like in disc golf that you can't win a tournament by going to the gym, but you can maybe lose a tournament by not going to the gym. Something like something like that. That if everyone else does it.
Yeah, well, disc golf is interesting. You can literally be a stick, but you can be like so. How do you say it? Like
a natural.
No, like precise, and you can execute all the shots you want every time.
Okay.
Even if you don't have the muscle. I mean, I guess of course the muscle helps.
Yeah.
There's like the muscle memory and especially in the injury prevention. Yeah. That's a huge part.
I remember talking to a competitive chess player a couple of years ago about this, and he said that in tournaments he's noticed that it helps just because it helps you combat the overall fatigue of the tournament, because you have many games over a long weekend or something like that. So then, even though the act of actually playing chess doesn't require a whole lot of muscle, like in a tournament setting, then even in chess it seems to help.
Yeah.
So it's But so then,
Makes
what
sense.
are can you talk to me a little bit about the gear? You already mentioned that it's that the discs are a little bit different than Grandpa's old frisbee, but so I understand there's different sizes, weights, so on. So like, can you talk us through what how the gear is different?
Yeah, well, it's basically like in regular golf, you have the putters, drivers, stuff like that. In disc golf, you have the putters, approach discs, mid ranges, fairway drivers, and drivers. They are like they have like flight numbers, speed, fade, glide, stuff like that. And it depends on the like shape of the disc. The more round it is, usually it's more slower. Like a putter, it's more round, and maybe a 13-speed driver, it's the edge is really sharp, so it can go further.
Right.
It like goes through the wind and air better, so it goes further.
Okay. Yeah.
So for example,
there's like less resistance to it.
Yeah.
And then is it then so that with a putter, because it has more surface towards the airflow, then you have more control over like how it sort of turns in the air. I don't know the words.
Yeah.
I'm sort of making this up.
Yeah, like putters, usually the margin of error can be like this, and with a driver, it can be like this, because like the driver, the sideways movement is a lot bigger than with a putter. With a putter, you can go basically straight.
Yeah. Okay.
With a driver, it always goes
similar as in traditional golf, because like with the driver, yes, if you know how to swing, you can go far, but you can also go very far off course quite easily. Yeah.
That's the problem for me sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I throw further than most of the people. But when it doesn't go where I want it to go, it goes so deep in the woods.
Yeah.
And then I'm in trouble.
Okay, so it's calculated risk. So it's not like there's the sort of physical the physical act of throwing the disc, but there's also the idea, like how am I going to how do I want to win, and you can have very different strategies and tactics on how you want to do that. So then, like what made Jämijärvi a good course for you? Like what's the things that like made you happy there?
Well, the throwing distance. It was a course that you could really utilize the distance if you had it. And there was like, I think 3 or maybe 4 eagle holes, or well, not like gimme, but you could eagle it with a good throw if you throw far. And I think I took 3 eagles during the competition. So that was basically it.
Eagle is 3 under par, right?
2.
2.
Only
2.
2.
Right.
And birdie is 1.
Birdie
like
is
in
1.
Regular golf.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've golfed, so So I don't remember anymore. Plus, I didn't really need to worry about remembering eagles much. So that wasn't something that I had to calculate very many times during my golfing career. Well, you can't really call it a career. It was just a hobby for a while, but it's fun. And yeah, I actually happen to know Jämijärvi area quite well, but from very different sports. So I've been there in quite a few sled dog racing events. I understand the layout. It's basically a forest airstrip, so that gives you
Yeah.
those long distances, and
Yeah.
it's quite open as well. But how about then? There's also quite a bit of elevation there. So does that also help you, or what do you think?
Well, there wasn't that many holes with like a lot of elevation difference, but there was this one hole. It was the hole 3. It was 235 meters, and it was downhill
Yeah,
a lot. And well, of course, the disc goes further when you slow it down.
of
So
course.
you
Yeah,
could never reach the basket if it were on the flat ground.
yeah,
It was downhill, so I basically uh, put the first shot under the basket.
yeah. Okay, it's very interesting. So then, like when you're training, do you sort of prefer to sort of train as you play? So just go find a course somewhere where you can practice there, or do you use like simulators or stuff like that?
Well, disc golf isn't like there yet with the
No,
simulators. So,
I like a friend of mine showed me this. Like he has in his backyard in Nokia, so not actually that far away from you. Like basically just a net on the backyard, and then he has this sort of a small gadget that he attaches to the bottom of the disc, and then when you throw it, it gives you like information about
the flat speed and
the speed and the spin and stuff like that.
yeah.
So, like, do you find those gadgets or training aids are they useful for you? Like, do you use them?
Well, they're actually quite new. They haven't been around long.
Oh, okay.
I've tested them a few times, but I mean I don't really see what I can gain from it that much. It's cool statistics, but maybe I don't need that in the regular practice sessions.
Yeah.
But you can like divide the training into like field work that you just go to an open field and you like maybe throw 10 discs to the other side,
Yeah.
and maybe you pick a target, or whether you're going like for the accuracy or the technique, depends on that, and then just throw them back and forth as
Okay.
long as you want.
Yeah.
And then there's the like you just go to the course and play the course and try to play it
Yeah.
as good as you can.
Yeah. Is then how much is it an element like? Well, like yeah, you have some fields which are close to you. So so how much does that like impact that that if you keep training the same course, you will learn that course very well.
Yeah.
But is there a danger there that if you train too much in one particular course, it might actually hurt your performance in other fields? Like, is that a factor in your opinion?
Well, I wouldn't maybe say that it hurts the other courses, but because if you like develop a strength for you,
Yeah.
you can use it. You can use it usually in every course. You just need to play a little bit different than others. But of course, if all the courses near you are short, they don't have any big distance holes,
Hmm.
then you might never like learn to throw really far,
Yeah.
and that can affect a little bit. But if your nearby course has all the big distance holes, usually the people who play there are learning to throw the disc further than the others.
Yeah.
So there's that. But of course, when you go to the field, you can just practice any lengths or shapes you want. So
Okay. How is it like? Is it something that you can explain? Like, that, like when you need to throw the extra long, like, how is it different? The way that you throw, is it something that you can explain, or is it just like biomechanics and you can't really explain it?
well, I mean, of course, you just throw quicker and harder.
But what's the
And
difference between the two?
what do you mean difference?
Like, what's the difference between quicker and harder?
Maybe everyone visualizes it in their own way,
Yeah, but
but I think
I'm curious, like how you, like how you approach this. So like, how for you are those separate things, or is it the same thing in just in like in one package?
well, maybe the biggest difference, if I'm throwing really short,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing standstill. But if I'm going further, then I'm taking the steps.
Okay, so it's more than
So
like a full body movement
yeah,
that you're going through.
or well, the steps kind of like give you better rhythm, and you're already in the move.
Yeah. Is there any rules around that? Like can you like run 100-meter sprint before you throw? Like, is there rules telling you how much you can take liberties in the way that you throw it?
I don't actually think there is. If you can sprint the 100 meters like back and forth in 30 seconds, because the 30 seconds is your time frame, then I guess just
Okay.
do it. But
Okay.
you need to hit like your foot needs to hit behind the disc. It's like A4 paper,
Yeah.
and you need to hit that for it to be legal.
Okay. Okay. So that's how you define like a legal throw.
Yeah, that's the foot position.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna switch to a slightly different topic then. Like one of the things that I think is like typical for emerging sports is that there tends to be areas of the rules where there's fast evolution and things change quite a bit, and that tends to create a little bit of controversy, especially those who are competing more seriously. So, like, what's the situation today? Like, what's the controversial rules at the moment that people in the sport have very different opinions about?
I'm not actually sure about that. I I don't I don't follow the drama. If you could say that.
Maybe that's the reason why you've been winning. Staying away from the drama usually, that's usually a smart move.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe there aren't really that many in this sport, like
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, because I also like, I think that I've been spectating it, the like disc golf from afar from some time now, and I think that by and large people seem to be quite laid back and very friendly, and like even
Yeah.
the like pro players are very sort of well mannered, like and sort of there. I don't think that there is that much drama, especially, well, except now there was, I think, that something more with some U.S. tournament where someone perhaps sort of skipped away with the money or something like that. But besides that, I think that the sport has created this like a culture where people are, generally speaking, just enjoying themselves and having a good time and being quite civil as well. So is that just my impression, or would you agree with that?
Well, yes and no. I mean, that's the like the main like idea from
Yeah.
especially from the old times.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's 13 years ago when I started playing, people were talking about disc golf spirit and how the sport is a gentleman's sport, that you
Yeah.
need to respect everyone and stuff like that. You need to be kind to everyone.
Yeah.
But since then, when the sport became more known to people, especially during the COVID, when everything just exploded,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
the disc golf spirit has like it's not the same as it used to be. There's more like also the bad things happening when there's new people and they kind of don't know the ethics and how to be with other disc golf players and what's the sport all about.
Yeah. Do you think that
Correct.
do you think that's a result of just the growth in general, that you have a lot of people coming in at the same time, and you as a community are don't have the time to sort of indoctrinate everyone well enough? Or is it that also like that I noticed that during COVID a lot of things sort of stopped working the same way that they used to work, like in a lot of sports, for example, these like really low entry level things where you draw in the people into the sport, they sort of stopped functioning, and in many sports they haven't actually recovered. So then the people who still end up coming to the sport are coming into the sport without much structure or support. They just sort of stumble upon like to Reddit Reddit channels of disc golf, and then they go and throw a disc, and sort of they just sort of stumble their way into the sport. Do you think that is that, and that like whole post COVID thing, is it, do you think that that's still an element here?
Well, I think it's mainly about growth, but I think disc golf is actually has been pretty good at developing like these entry level competitions and events and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot more opportunities with people starting today than maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's a lot of improvements on that side. But just when there's so many people coming to the sport, it just creates these negative impacts, of course.
Yeah.
But there's also one aspect in the like pro field, because, well, 10 years ago, the money that you won in competitions, well, I mean, can you call it even money?
Yeah.
You basically didn't win anything. But nowadays, the prize monies are starting to go up, and people are starting to take this a little bit more serious. And of course, when people are serious, some drama can start to happen. So maybe that affects also the new players if they see something that the pro players do or something like that, or just in the like between the pros. But
Yeah, I think that
it's
you're probably onto something there.
yeah.
Yeah, because whether it's conscious or not, whenever we get drawn into a sport, the top players do end up becoming somewhat like role models, and you
Yeah.
end up picking up these cues from them on like how to behave. And but then at the same time, like I think that it's sort of like a maturity model where there's these different phases in the sport, where at different times the people who govern the sport, the federations and so on, like they're, well, obviously, like everyone always has too few resources and not enough money to do what they really want, but I assume that everyone's always trying to do the best that they can, but at different times they need to sort of focus those resources on slightly different things. And like at the early stage, it's just getting those first set of rules in place and getting people to agree that, okay, this is now how we define this sport, getting everyone to sort of play the same version of the sport to begin with, and then you start adding stuff in, and but then at the very other end, I think that then when you reach that like really mature, I think that especially like in team sports, if you look at, like, for example, like in NBA or something like this, the amount of coaching that the players get exactly on topics like this, like, hey, like even when you're on the field and it's the playoffs, remember that there's like 3 million kids looking at you, and the way that you behave on that court today, someone's going to replicate that exact same thing tomorrow on some schoolyard. So think before you act. But I think that that's when you start having like millions of dollars to throw to like behavioral consultants and stuff like that. So maybe this talk isn't quite there yet.
Maybe not
But
yet.
it's but yeah, but and I think that it is like exactly like you said, that when the prize money first starts going up, then the temper starts rising, and then people sometimes forget forget to behave a little bit. And but that in time will then kick off the next phase of the evolution, I think, at least like if all goes well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so what's your goal then for next season? It has to be
Well,
higher than win something.
yeah. I mean, I'm dreaming of a trip to the US,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's possible yet. So I haven't set any goals yet. But that would be a dream, to make
Yeah.
one trip to play to the US.
So what's the hold up? Are there qualifiers, or is it just the logistics and the finances of it? Like what's stopping you from doing that?
Well, there's I think two reasons. I think I can qualify for the tour pass that you need to get to be able to play in those events.
Yeah.
But then there's the financial side.
Mm.
Uh, it's really expensive to go to the US. For example, when you go there, of course you want to play like 2 or 3 months there.
Yeah.
And for what I've heard, it can be maybe like 7,000 euros. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you need to have like a good group with you to like cut the costs.
Yeah.
So there's not that many people from Finland going to the US to play. I think there's one group. So and then maybe some other guys. I don't know. But finding the people to go with you, that's also can be a little problem. If there's
Yeah.
like 4 guys going, they're going with one car, one place, then you need another group, because
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
really go alone,
Yeah.
because I don't even know how much that would cost.
Yeah, and of course, like at that point, then it's also like it's not just the costing; it's like going out there competing all alone by yourself for 3 months.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nobody
it's
wants to
like
do that.
yeah, I think that like you wouldn't psychologically be doing yourselves self any favors by doing that. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
would probably be
Definitely.
really difficult to perform at the competitions too. But okay, so that gives an understanding of the sort of the size of the budgets to sort of take that step. And I understand that currently this is a major issue for a lot of the European players, that
Yeah.
like the prize money in US is significantly better, and the level of competition is a lot higher, so your ability to grow as an athlete is a lot better if you can go there. But there's this huge, like the Atlantic is very wide if you're looking at it as a disc golf player in Europe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my cat is having a coughing attack. But so like is that like do you think that that's like a Finnish problem, a very Finnish a problem, or is it Europeans in general?
Yeah. Definitely Europeans in general. If the United States would be, for example, as close as Sweden, everybody would go there. Why not?
Yeah, and is the if we think about the level of competition and the prize money, is it that Europe is catching up to US, or is it that US is
Definitely.
just getting further away?
I mean, when you look how good like Finnish players have started to place on the competitions, you can quite easily see a trend that's going up.
Yeah,
So we are definitely catching up on the US players.
yeah. Who was? I think now I forget, but someone had a big win not long ago, like this summer.
Yeah, Niklas
Yeah, Niklas. Yeah,
Anttila.
yeah.
Yeah, he was the first Finnish male to win a disc golf pro tournament in the United States.
Kudos to Niklas. Well done. But yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
so Europe is catching up, but if we in Europe could like gather a little bit of money for you guys, then you could catch up a lot faster. I suppose like that's one way to look at it. So and like I think that like going on a tour there, that also like sounds like it sort of reminds me of like when I was very young. I got into skateboarding, and then watching the sort of bigger kids, those who were very good at the sport, like go to US, just like you said, for 2 or 3 months, just to go through like skating all the hot spots and just trying to get their picture taken by the right person at the right time, or something like that. And I think that one of the things that I remember from that era is that actually just the stories of those trips in themselves ended up being like um, quite valuable because they were, when they got back to Europe, they could sell them to European like skate magazines and stuff like that. Now, of course, the world is a little bit different because we have social media and stuff like that. So it's not exactly the same logic. But I think that the whole like the whole attraction of that, like going on a road trip, competing in one place after the other, I think that still remains. And now you could just cover it in real time instead of waiting for 3 months for it to be like published in a magazine somewhere.
Yeah.
So how, like when you're going out to compete in Europe, is it the same logistics there as well, that you try to find a group where you can join, or is it more like a solo thing if you're just competing in Europe?
Well, in Europe, you can basically do both. I think I did 2 trips with the group this season, and all the other I went by myself.
Okay.
But for maybe the longer trips, it's usually better to go with a group. For example, in Czech Republic or Belgium or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if the competition is in Estonia, you can just go by yourself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay. So have you crunched your numbers? Is it better for you in terms of competition outcome to travel alone or travel in group?
Well, I don't know. It's I don't know yet.
Okay.
Hasn't been any
You need more
major
data.
differences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. Are you planning on doing anything different this off season then? Like, what's the plan? How are you going to improve your game for next season?
I noticed this season that my putting was lacking really bad. So I'm definitely going to like put my chips on the putting. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to practice that like a lot more.
Okay.
And also now that I have like the really good distance, I'm basically only going to try to get better with the accuracy and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And also I've already made some changes on my like lifestyle in this short start of the off season. I've started to eat more healthy. I've started to do more cardio because last off season it was mainly more on the like going to the gym and the maximum strength training, stuff like that. But this off season, I'm definitely going to do more cardio and more explosive work, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And actually, sleep, the quality of sleep. I noticed last off season that it's quite delicate thing when you train a lot. You go to work, you go to gym, you throw frisbee, you're constantly doing something.
Yeah.
The recovery that you need, it's like the need for recovery is so much bigger.
Yeah.
And the sleep becomes so important. And I had a little bit of issues with my sleep, especially in the start of the off season, and I couldn't get rid of it. So it definitely affected how the quality of the practice sessions and stuff like that was.
Yeah, I think that you're absolutely right. I think that especially a lot of like young athletes sort of make sacrifices in the wrong place, because if you don't take the rest and recovery, and of course nutrition as well, seriously, then you're going to reach a point where it just doesn't matter how much more you train, because your body isn't benefiting it from the workouts anymore. It's just trying to very desperately to get a little bit of rest and really
exactly.
just pumping more iron, and in that situation, then just hitting the gym isn't the right answer. But I think that, and like, this is like one of the things that I've always like felt very strongly about, that I think that in emerging sports, it's even more pronounced, because you're trying to balance basically a full-time job, and then the workout, all the practice, the preparation for that, the rest and the recovery, and then to have some semblance of a social life, let alone
Yeah.
if you then have kids and stuff like that. So then like
Yeah.
something needs to go. So then I think that like, and that's why we've basically like set up Next Stride, is to try and fix this for as many athletes as we can, because that means then that it's actually at the end of the day, it's not the competition between the best, it's more like the competition between the two people who were very good, but also who could afford to compete
Yeah.
in one way or the other. And like that whole like balancing act, it's really difficult, and over the years it starts to take a toll. So I think
Yeah.
that's why it's also like so important that like when I sort of joked that we in Europe could accelerate the development of the sport in Europe by getting you and the other like emerging top players to US faster. It's not just a joke. It's also that as long as you're in this unsustainable position, it's basically a question of, are you going to make it before you burn out and you just come to the conclusion that screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yeah. Exactly. And well, it's a lot more harder to make it to the top nowadays than maybe only 5 years ago, because there's a lot more professional players now. So the level has gone up so tremendously that it kind of is on the verge, if you can even make it, if you go to work. That do you have enough time to compete against these guys, the professionals?
Exactly. And then it's not really and then it stops answering the question of like who is the best in the sport or who could be the best in the sport, because it's no,
actually
it's a real problem.
Yeah, and actually in Finland, well, we have the winter, so that's a disadvantage compared to the US players.
Yeah.
But of course, we can go to practice indoors, like there's the indoors football fields.
Yeah.
And people are going there to practice in the winter. But then there's the people that have like a daytime job, just like me.
Yeah.
So it limits my chances to go to the indoor field, because when I get off work, it's like the busiest time, and then there's the football players, and I can't go there.
So all the clubs and
So there's not that many hours in the whole week that I can go there. So I just need to try to make it. Try to make it when I can.
Yeah.
Because well, you can't really practice outside.
Yeah.
Because of the snow, and if it's like minus 15 degrees, what are you gonna do? You don't even benefit of the practice in there.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if you did, if you work the daytime, it's already dark out, so you can't do it. So then it leaves like the couple hours in the week that you can go to the indoor football field.
Yeah.
And I guess it depends on where you live. Of like maybe in some other city, the indoor football field is open like earlier in the morning or more later to the night, or if it's not that busy than here, or stuff like that. But at least the football field nearby us, I think it opens at 7.
Yeah.
Or 8. I think it opens at 7, but the lights may come on at 8. So yeah, and usually from 8 there's the football clubs playing. Yeah. So what can you do?
Yeah, and in Finland in the winter time, at 7 the sun isn't going to help you at all. So
Yeah,
it's
and
a very
well,
Finnish problem.
from 8 you need to go to work.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, that's actually a very good observation, because I haven't experienced that problem myself, because in the sports where indoor training facilities have been available, I've been in team sports, and we've actually had that access, and I just sort of took it for granted. But yeah, I can understand how that's actually also like a significant problem, and I suppose that's why, like, if we'll look at more mature sport, like just like running, running sports in general, a lot of the Nordic level, like, champions, they basically live somewhere else the whole winter time. So they're somewhere in the Mediterranean or something, so that they can actually keep training efficiently throughout the year. Yeah. So and well, maybe that's the future for disc golf as well. But how is the disc golf popularity currently in Europe? I understand that it's more pronounced in sort of Northern Europe than Southern Europe, but I might be mistaken.
Yeah, I think the biggest countries that play, of course, Finland, Sweden, Estonia.
Okay.
I think there's a few players from Czech Republic. Well, I think that's maybe it for the pro field.
Okay.
Or of course, Denmark too.
Yeah.
There's the Copenhagen Open also.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, what's driving that trend? And, like, first of all, like, do you see that it's currently like spreading towards south, or is it like just growing
The other way around?
Sorry?
South, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's spreading over time. Yeah, because I think that part of that, like, I was just thinking about in my head, like, what's combining, or like what's something that like is similar in the countries that you mentioned, and I think that in a lot of those, like, I think there's a lot of public land, and so that helps,
Woods
because then
and possibilities for the courses.
Yeah, and it's cost effective too. For like in Finland, like it's I think that it's a very popular thing for municipalities to do. That if they want to improve the physical well-being of their citizens, they set up a disc golf field, of course, because it's relatively cheap for them to build it. It's very accessible to a lot of different kind of people, and it doesn't take a whole lot of money to maintain it either, if you compare to like an ice hockey rink, for example.
Yeah, and the, like, starting to play this sport, it's really cheap.
Yeah. You just need a few discs. Yeah, and I suppose you can get started with grandpa's old disc if you want, until you break it, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think maybe the reason that the disc golf is more popular in the northern parts of Europe, I might be mistaken, but I think Finland might be the, like, first country to, like, start playing it. Or, I mean, it's the most popular in Finland, so
I didn't
guess
know
that. It could be the reason, and then it kind of just spread from Finland to Sweden and Estonia, and from Sweden to Norway and Denmark. It would be logical.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I didn't know that it's from here. I had actually assumed that it's an American invention.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So Finland was the first outside of US, like, where it was widely adopted.
Or
okay.
Maybe,
Okay. Sorry,
maybe. I have no idea how it landed in Finland. Nobody knows.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, somehow sports have figured out a way to sort of spread across the world, even before the age of social media. So, so who
Yeah.
knows? But yeah, it's and in US, is it also predominantly in the northern parts where it's popular, or is it just all over in US?
I have actually no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Okay, but before we wrap up, any final thoughts? Like, what's going to happen like before next season? Any thoughts you'd like to share?
Well, what's going to happen? The usual. So lots of practice and trying to give myself a better chance the next season to win
Yeah.
more tournaments and be more consistent, and maybe trying to figure out a way to go to the US.
Yeah. Let's hope so, and that you have a chance to do it, and hopefully we'll be able to help you out with that. But I because it just sounds like a cool adventure, if nothing more than that. Plus, we need more fans on the pro tour there, so so
Yeah,
that
definitely
would be good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thank you for tuning into Stride, where we elevate the game for emerging talent in niche sports. Before you go, here's a quick recap of what Next Stride is all about. At Next Stride, we're driven by one mission: to revolutionise how athletes in niche and emerging sports are recognised and supported. We connect athletes and federations and brands through a trusted, transparent platform, creating real opportunities for growth and long-term success. Whether you're an athlete, federation, or a brand, Next Stride ensures your achievements, support, and sponsorships are recognised and rewarded. To athletes, join Next Stride to get verified recognition for your achievements and access sponsorships that value your potential. To sports federations, partner with us to drive recognition, improve operations, and open new sponsorship avenues for your athletes. To brands, looking for authentic connections with athletes and fans in niche sports? We provide a diverse range of talent, offering transparency and superior return on investment. Visit us at nextstride.com to learn more. And a special thank you to Arttu Silvast, who composes and produces all of the music and audio for Stride. We'll see you next time. Keep pushing forward.